Case, let's go to you first with your draft winner from the weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to be quick with it. No suspense here. Columbus Blue Jackets are my draft winner this year. Sounds like Chad went down the same road as me from that.
I've got two, though. Go on.
All right. Well, I mean, first of all, their first pick, the sixth pick, I want to mention that this is Chicago's pick, acquired in the South Jones trade, where Columbus took them to the Cleaners. And they went with David Jiricek, who is the second best defenseman in this draft, and maybe only the second best because of a bad injury last year. Who knows what he could have done with the rest of the year. From 2017 to 2020, Columbus drafted, and that's 4 drafts. The highest D-man they picked was 78th. Their prospect pool on the D end is weak. So this is exactly what they needed. It's exactly the guy I projected them to pick. So I'm really happy that they went out and got him. Moving on to their next pick, pick 12, Denton Matejchuk. They continued to add to that deep pool I was talking about. Had a higher points per game than Korchinski, who was picked at 7th and had 13 goals compared to his 4 goals. This guy is going to be dynamic on the power play and should play well alongside Jiricek. So I'm excited for them there. I think that's another guy that they picked exactly where he belonged in the draft. There wasn't a reach. It wasn't, a huge value pick either, but right where he belongs. Now, they start getting more value when they get onto the second round. Their pick 44, Luca Del Bellaluz. What a name.
Great name.
All name team, that's for sure. 6'1", 180 center. Only OHL players picked in this draft with more points than him was Shane Wright and Tucker Robinson, which is an absolute steal of a pick for Seattle. NHL Scouting had him ranked the 8th best North American skater, and Button and McKenzie had them at 23 and 29 respectively. Like, this is a value pick at number 44. They're going to be really happy about that one, I think. But so I found a lot to like about Columbus's draft when I started digging in to look a little deeper, but this is why I started looking into Columbus, and that's Jordan Dumay. I sent you guys a message on the side, just blown away about this guy and how late he was going to slip with the rankings. He was was third in the league in scoring as a 17-year-old in the queue, where he had 39 goals, 100 assists. I've lost my stats, for 109 points in 68 games. The closest guys on his teams were 88 points and 65 points. He was also the QMJHL and CHL Sportsman Player of the Year. Like, what is there not to like about this guy? I'll tell you exactly what. NHL scouts do not like a 5'9", 165 winger. They still have not come around to that, and it blows my mind. He could be the next DeBrincat, and we're letting him slip to the 3rd round. It's unbelievable to me.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff there, Case. You finished with Columbus, or do you want to keep?
Oh, I'm still going.
Okay, all right.
That was gay.
All right, let's keep going.
Next
then.
Pick, 4th round, 6'6", 238-pound right winger from Russia with 28 points in 33 games in the WHL. Why not take a swing? After that, round 5, Sergei Ivanov. Always take a swing at a goalie this late in the draft. Why not? Well, this one wasn't even a swing. 928 save percentage in 26 MHL games, through 931 save percentage in 16 in the playoffs to lead the league. That is not a swing at a goalie at all. He might be the steal out of all the goalies in a weak draft for goaltending. And then their last pick, James Fisher, was a high schooler that they picked, full-bodied high schooler. I'll tell you that. He's like 6'1", 198 pounds or something like that. Ranked 99th in North American skaters, and 198 and 96, those players all went in the 4th and 5th rounds. So I think that they got value in every one of their picks. They did not miss, and I don't know, I was really excited to see Jordan Dumay go to Columbus. Yeah, that was a lot.
No, Case, that was great. But
that was great, yeah.
You kind of figured it out. I was also going to say Columbus. I think they won this draft, and I didn't even go that deep into it. I just liked the 4 guys that they picked, their first 4 picks. It made total sense to take Jiricek at 6. Like you mentioned, probably the second best defenseman in the draft. That's also where I had him on my draft ranking at 6. So that was great. Denton Matejchuk at 12. You guys know that I thought it would have been a bit of an off-the-board pick if he went in the top 10, but that's where I had him on my draft ranking because I was high on the player. I thought he was just as good as Korchinski, who went before him. Extremely similar production. both in the WHL. So I thought that was a great pick at 12. And like you said, like the Columbus Blue Jackets have Chicago to thank for basically building their entire back end now. So they've got Boquist there. They don't have Seth Jones anymore. He's on Chicago, overpaid, probably going to get traded, and that's just, he's never going to live up to that contract, unfortunately, because it's just too much. But so now they have Boquist on the back end. You've got Juracek, and you've got Matejchuk as well. So that's 3 absolute studs on the back end, and you can thank Chicago for that. And then, the third pick there that they took 44th overall, Luca Del Beluz. That was a guy on the radar for the Leafs to take late in the first round at 25. There was a lot of chatter about this player. And I don't know the reason why he sort of slipped this far, but like you mentioned, he was projected to go either late first round or early second round, and so that's a good value pick there. And then Dumay, you talked about the production there, and that's their 4th pick at 96th overall. Just made total sense. Columbus is a team that's not afraid to take a swing on players who might be undersized. You see that in this draft, even with their goalie, who's only 5'11", which there's only, I think, one current NHL goalie under 6 feet, and that's UC Saros, and he was one of the best goalies in the league last year and the year before. So listen, man, like, I know height, weight, size, can do a lot for you, and we saw that in the first pick by the Canadians. They went with the big 6'4" power forward and in Slavkovsky instead of the 6 foot, two-way player in Shane Wright. But I don't know, man. At a certain point, you got to start looking at skill and value, and that's what Columbus did all draft long. So I absolutely loved it. So they were my number 1 for sure.